Hi everybody, Pedro. Today we're going to talk about the Blaser F3. Blaser is a German company created in about the 1950s. They were primarily a rifle hunting company until they decided to create the Blaser F3 and F16. F3 being the competition gun, the F16 being their entry-level gun. Okay. The Blaser F3 is created to be completely modular, like many of the rifles that Blaser already makes. On this specific gun, the Blaser F3, as you can see, the wood, the receiver, the barrels, and the forend are completely modular. Therefore, you can have one gun and multiple receivers or multiple barrels. The Blaser F3 comes in a few different configurations. First is the competition, which is the flat rib as you see here. You also have the Vantage model, which is a step rib. You have the Super Sport. It has about a half an inch adjustable rib. You can give you a pattern of 50-50 up to 70-30. And then you have a Super Trap, which is about a 1 inch adjustable rib, which start at a 70-30 pattern. On the competition flat rib or Vantage, which is a step rib models, you have the option to buy all 4 gauge barrels for it. 410, 28, 20, and 12, with the weights across all of them being very close, the same as the 12 gauge. And another cool thing is the rib thickness on top. It's also going to be, all the sub gauge barrels are going to match the 12 gauge gun, therefore not changing your sight picture. I'm going to take this apart so you can see how the barrels are made. In order to make it completely modular, and when you get the sub-gauge barrels or other types of barrels for the Blaser, there's no fitting required. They're just snap on and go. That's the one thing that Blaser has over any other gun. Buy the barrel, put on it, and go shooting. No fitting required. In order to make that happen, and make the gun completely modular, the timing of the ejectors is not done in the forend anymore. It's actually done on the monoblock. And also to make it completely modular, they have to machine the barrels after they have been hardened, which is reversed from all the manufacturers. So what happens is, once they harden the receiver and machine it afterwards, it does not change the tolerances of the barrel, allowing it to be completely snap-on. Also, you can convert the ejectors of the gun to extractors by simply removing the ball bearing, different from other guns where we have to remove the end of the ejector in order not to trip on the forend. The barrels are chrome lined with brightly steel chokes. Another part here on the barrels you're going to see is all 4 gauge barrels, all barrels will have it, is this section here. They created weights for these guns, so allows the shooter to put weights in the front or in the back. And in the back, it's very interesting too. You have a stock bolt that will start from here on a straight line up to here. And then from here back, you have a separate bolt that is actually basically one long screw, where the weight is going to attach to that screw and allows you to move the weight up and down wherever you want the balance to be. So if you like the balance to be at the end of the gun, the very butt pad, you can move the weights all the way down and create the balance here. If you like the weight to be right on your hands, you can bring the weights all the way up and have it sitting right behind your hand. So that's another cool thing they have. The action. It is a striker fired action. It doesn't have traditional hammers. It has 2 strikers that move on a straight line, creating faster strikes and faster release, creating very also crisp triggers. Triggers are usually about 3.5, 3.5 pounds, very fast release time, and being mechanical too. 1, 2. So there's no fitting required on the barrels, neither needs a mechanical conversion because the gun is already mechanical. The receivers has a nitride finish, even though on the engraved receivers that you see, the silver one also have the same finish on them. Now, the cool thing, and this is primarily for competitors that, burn through firing pins, it just happens. The face of the receiver has a plate, and you see the 2 screws right there. That was created so that you can remove that plate yourself and replace the firing pins yourself and not need to disassemble the entire gun to do so. Now, don't think that because you're able to replace the firing pins means that the firing pins are terrible. No, it just happens that over time as you shoot, Sometimes, not as good as a quality shells will cause the firing pins to pierce the primers, creating a blowback into the firing pin and create little craters on the nose. After a while, you're gonna have light primer strikes. So if that happens, you can remove that plate, swap the firing pins out without having to take the whole thing apart. So the afterthought on this gun is pretty simple. Very good, solid gun, shoots great. It has a different feeling than some Italian guns. The receiver is a little bit thinner than some other Italian guns, so therefore it has a different style balance than, for example, your DT11 or your Parati, which have a much thicker receiver. It is a true personal preference, not good or bad. It's a personal preference for shooters. Now, again, the one thing is, if you like to shoot sub-gauge, this is a phenomenal platform for you. Buying all the 4-gauge barrels for this gun, not having to fit it and not having to do a mechanical conversion. That's basically what the gun was built for, allow you to shoot all gauges and not feel much difference between barrel weights, swing of the gun, and having to do a bunch of adjustments in order to do so. I like the gun a lot. I shot it. It shoots great. Again, personal choice for each shooter. You have great guns out there for competition. This is one of them. There you go. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you.